Welcome to From the VC's Bookshelf, a podcast from TBR, the College System of Tennessee, the state's largest higher education system. In this series, we examine how we might re-envision the work we do and how we work together as we move into a post-pandemic world. Please join our host, Dr. Heidi Lemming, Vice Chancellor for Student Success, as she leads a live discussion with industry experts and leaders throughout our system.
The Statewide Outstanding Achievement Awards and Recognition, or SOAR, celebration recognizes individuals who have been nominated by their institutions as being among the best of the best in the categories of faculty, staff, and students. This year's finalists went through an initial interview process where they were selected as a regional winner that then moved on to our final statewide competition. In this podcast series, I'll be showcasing the regional award winners in a short interview so that listeners can learn more about the faculty, staff, and student finalists from across the TBR system. It's my hope that by learning more about the regional finalists, listeners will get a sense of the amazing stories and backgrounds of the individuals who work and learn at our institutions. Okay, so today we are interviewing our community college student finalists in a panel discussion. I'm going to let them first introduce themselves. So again, these finalists just finished yesterday their final interview. We will announce the winner later today, this evening. So you don't know who is going to receive that yet. But I would like them to take 2 to 3 minutes and share just a little bit about who they are. So, of course, your name, institution, but anything else you feel people would want to know about you. So let's start with Troy and let Troy introduce himself.
Good afternoon. Excuse me. My name is Troy Holt. I am at Roane State Community College. I'm a first-generation student, and I'm also almost 59 years old.
Yeah.
I'm studying psychology. I'm presently hoping to get my AS in psychology, and I have a follow-on to Lindsey Wilson. It's a college in Kentucky that is very good. They have an outstanding counseling program, so I hope to become a counselor to high school kids. Would be my preferred target, simply because I feel like I could give them a lot of my life experience, and I could help them understand how important that they are.
Yeah, that's great, Troy. And I like the fact that we'd have what we call non-traditional student, an older student here with us, because I'm sure you're going to have a lot of life lessons you can share with us today.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, our second finalist, Jaxen, you want to introduce yourself?
Well, hi, I'm Jaxen. I go to Motlow State Community College, Middle Tennessee. I am majoring in my Associates of Science in Teaching, so then I'll continue and get my bachelor's in English with a minor in education and dance, so I can start teaching students. But the goal is to get into administration, and then I want to work for the Tennessee Department of Education after working in all of these different roles and truly understanding how the system works and how to make it better. But I also really love to dance. Dance is like my biggest passion. I work at a dance studio 6 days a week. It's what I do in my afternoons, and I love it so much.
That's great. I'm glad to hear about some hobbies here in this intro, too. Thank you. And finally, Alexis, you want to introduce yourself?
Sure. I'm Alexis Smith. I go to Dyersburg State Community College. I was actually a psych major at first, too. I changed my major to business because just longitudinally, I want to open a nonprofit. I thought that would make more sense, business major. The goal is to open a global nonprofit that works mostly internationally, uses higher ed students to kind of lead humanitarian efforts. So, yeah, helping a lot of people all at once, hopefully. Let me see. Is there anything else? No. I'm also very invested in the arts, so I'm president of our Fine and Performing Arts Club. So I've written 2 plays at this point, directed 2, and we're about to put it on in May. So yay!
Yay, that's cool. Well, what I like about even in your intros is you all want to help people in some way, right?
Oh, yeah.
So that's great. That's a common theme, something you have in common. So let's dive into some questions here that I know you probably were asked during the selection process. You're probably well versed in how to answer these, but I know our listeners would be probably really interested in hearing more from you. During your time at your institution, can you tell us about a person, whether it was another student, a faculty member, or a teacher, who made a significant impact on you and how they impacted you? I'm just going to call on someone unless someone really wants to jump out there. So I might just start with Jaxen and see what your thoughts are on that.
I can say without a doubt, my favorite person at Motlow is Miss Lori Rogers. She works in the Dean of Students office. She's so helpful all the time. She's one of our student government advisors this year. She's stepped up because last year she was not. She just kind of helped out with student government, but the advisors we had were not doing what they were supposed to. They were not fulfilling their duties. So that last year she stepped up, and this year she's taken on the role officially. So at school, anytime I need anything, I run to her office. I'm like, Miss Lori, like, I don't know what to do. Like, I need some help. But even outside of school, like, she's always just a phone call away, and it's been so nice to have someone like that, even if it's just, since it's only a 2-year school, like, you don't have that long to get to know many people, and you only have one teacher for this one class, and then you never see them again. So having that constant has been really, really important these past 2 years, and I love and adore her so much.
That's great. Thank you. Anybody want to go next? You want me to call on you?
Sure, I'll go.
Okay.
So at Dyersburg State, one of the people that really, really impacted me, and there were a lot, there have been a lot, but the first, his name is Michael Fernandez. He's now graduated. So getting into college, I thought I would be going to a university. And so community college, like, I wasn't that passionate about it. I was like, all right, I'm going to go to school. I'm going to go home until I can transfer.
Yeah.
He's the one that got me out of that rut, per se. So at new student orientation, before I even started taking classes, he pulled me aside and he was like, hey, we need people in choir, you know, can you sign up? I was like, no, I don't want to get in choir, you know, I'm past that. He said there was a scholarship, so, you know, I said, where do I sign up? You know?
Money speaks, okay.
Yeah, of course, but it didn't stop there, thankfully. So I go to choir finally. I skipped 2 days. It's like, I don't know if I want to do this, you know. The advisor actually pulled me aside, and he was like, you're coming to my class. And that's Mr. Frost. He also made a huge impact on me. But yeah, stay after class one day, and then Michael pulls me aside. He was like, hey, please stay after for this club meeting. I was like, man, it never ends. Like, when can I go home? No, I'm kidding. I stay after. It was the first semester of this club, first meeting, first time they had ever hosted anything. So they were just kind of talking to us about what it meant. And so Forward Motion is this club at Dyersburg State that focuses on creating like an inclusive, creative environment for students. So a lot of times success isn't, you know, a specific career goal or whatever for a person. Sometimes it's doing a side quest, like putting on a play. And so that's what Forward Motion focuses on, is kind of bringing those dreams to life, even if it's a little unconventional. And they really needed help doing that. And in high school, I was very, very shy. I wasn't very outspoken or anything. So getting into college, I was the same way. And Michael was the person that got me out of that. He, sorry, I'm talking really fast. Michael saw me. He pointed at me directly. You know, I was avoiding eye contact, of course. Pointed at me directly and said, hey, I see a leader in you. And I didn't even know what that meant. I've never heard that before. And I think it was just kind of that, I don't know, I felt seen. I felt heard for the first time. Not to get emotional or anything.
That's okay if you do.
But it meant a lot to me. I had never kind of had that just very outward, blatant support from someone outside of, like, my mom. So, yeah, I got involved, and I found a ridiculous passion for leadership and student involvement. And so, yeah, I got involved in, like, SGA and PTK, and now I'm, like, even running as, like, an international candidate for PTK. So all thanks to Michael, from some random choir recruit. But now I'm here and pursuing my dreams, I guess, and now I can actually see it. You know, I can see myself leading a whole organization or leading other people to do the same. So, yeah, pretty exciting. Michael Fernandez.
That's great. Thank you so much. Troy, how about you?
Wow, that is amazing. For me, it was the journey really started when I when I applied to Roane State, I had to take an entrance exam, and I scored below the required minimum for the math. So the very first teacher that I saw was Mr. Sather, and I came to class. I couldn't get on the computer, and he's like, "Are you sure that you can do this?" And in a good way.
Okay.
And I said, "Of course I can." And I went home and just really thought about it. And from the moment that I was in Mr. Sather's class, he just poured into me, and he just such a true friend. The class that I had him for was statistical principles, and to go into the class and score below the minimum, and then I passed statistics with 101.
That's fantastic.
Oh my God.
It amazes me, but I owe so much of that to Mr. Sather because I spent time in the learning center. He was a tutor as well as being the educator. Spent time online studying, and he really is the reason that I'm here because he told the faculty at Roane State, they said, "You need to talk to Troy Holt." And he was like, "I want you to talk to the staff." And that's how I got actually nominated for the SOAR Award.
Oh my gosh.
I know, it just, so it's just amazing. And another professor that I really love is Miss Elizabeth Genovese. She's my literature professor, and I spent 10 years in the military, and I traveled overseas extensively, and I always wanted to think about the experiences that I had overseas in an artistic way, and Miss Genovese really opened up a new way of thinking for me. I was able to kind of reconnect with my past, and it was just truly amazing. And these two individuals, they also have community involvement, both of them. Miss Genovese teaches a class at the Regional Correctional Facility, and Mr. Sather is a volunteer fireman, and it's just, you couldn't ask for two better role models.
Yeah, that's
you
great.
Really couldn't.
The thing I like about all three of you, your response is there was someone at the institution that kind of reached out to you in some way.
Yes.
A lot of times students aren't making those connections, but when they do with a faculty or staff member, it can be very powerful. And you all are sharing some great examples there. And I know the folks that you've just mentioned probably really appreciate you recognizing them, but also are probably very humbled by they're just doing their jobs, but they also found something inspiring in you that made them want to reach out and connect you to the institution in some way. So, and Troy, thank you for your service as well. And I think that is very valuable that you're part of a campus where you can share some of those experiences with other students who might be coming straight from high school. That's the value of having adults with a recent high school graduate in the same place as you can learn from each other. So that's
Very
great. So what would you, thinking about this narrative, right? Like you made this connection with someone at the institution. It's really made a big impact to you. So now if you were to go out in the community and talk with, let's say, an 8th grader about college and careers, what would you say to them about considering coming to a TBR institution, since we are technical and community colleges? And I know sometimes they only think about universities, but there's a whole lot of variety in the types of institutions that are available, and sometimes people don't know about that. So what would you share with them about that? Troy, you want to go first?
I do, thank you.
Okay.
The thing that I would say is I came from a very small school. Our graduating class was 28 people. And at Roane State, the class size is usually under 30. So I never felt intimidated by, say, if you went to the University of Tennessee where you've got a classroom of 400.
Oh.
So I would tell them that the community college is a great option coming out of school. It's your small classes, and the thing about community colleges, the teachers love to teach.
Oh, yeah.
They are there to teach. I would tell them that if you do decide to go on to a 4-year college, that you can get your core credentials at at a community college, and a lot of the times they have a transfer where those credits are. They're going to have you lined up like you could, like at Roane State, we have the Roane to Tennessee Tech program. We have the Roane to Lindsey Wilson, where I'm going to go, and it's just amazing. And I would say the same thing for our TCAT programs, because I have a niece that's a welder.
Okay.
And that is amazing. And they get out in the community. They help the community. We are the community at Roane State. So it is just so neat. But that's what I would tell the kids. I would say, what is your passion? Whatever your passion is, we've got a place for you.
Exactly.
You want to lean in on that a little bit?
Sure.
Yeah.
So I found, like, at my community college specifically, like I said, I went into it thinking, lower quality education, lower quality experience. I had a 4-year institution in mind. That's where I was going to end up. And here we are now. Like, clearly I fell in love. And a lot of it had to do with just the, like, hidden, like, untapped potential there. A lot of people don't understand that community college, same education, same, quality that they're offering, but you have all of this potential that no one knows about, that no one's willing to lean into, I guess.
Yeah.
And it gives you, one, a better perspective of the world, because it is a smaller community. People are able to focus on you more and grow with you more. But even more than that, you can learn parts of yourself that you've never learned before. And a lot of that has to do with just the fact that people are willing to reach out and get to know you. Like most of my community college at this point, I've been there for 2 years. I know almost every teacher. I know almost, almost every student. But people I came in with, we've built like a really, really good foundation. And if you need help, if you need to talk to someone, they're there. It's just such a great environment. And yeah, it's all centered around learning and building as people. So I love it.
Yeah, that's great. We're going to put you guys on some billboards or something after this podcast.
I definitely have a face for a podcast.
There you go. How about you, Jaxen?
One really great thing is that I'm a substitute teacher, and I sub in middle schools every day. Whenever I'm not on campus, that's what I do. And I'm constantly having these conversations with students about TBR institutions. A lot of the conversations we're having center around these really great things about TBR and about the smaller class sizes and how affordable it is.
Oh, yeah.
And the flexibility. Like, you can stay at home, but there's options for you to move, right? A lot of us can go tuition free, but you'll have to pay for housing, but it's still a way to be able to move and have it affordable. But a lot of these students are really interested in our TCAT programs. Like, so many more of them are wanting to go to TCAT every single day. And they talk about it, and they talk about how excited they are that they can get an education in a technical school, and how they can join the workforce and our industrial programs. We have partnered with the high school. These 8th graders, they are so ready to go to high school so they can take a welding class and then end up at TCAT. Like, they are so thrilled that we have these options available to us, and that's why it's so important. So I get to talk to them and explain to them, oh, no, you're not just going to go and, like, hang out with a car all day. You might have to take another class too. They're like, oh, well, that's okay. Like, can I really do that? Like, make it, like, might double guess their choice. And we have this conversation reaffirming, no, you can do it. Like, they're there to help you. They really, really care about you. And even if you choose to go to a community college instead, like I do, like, there's so many great resources at all of these schools. You can still have that average, quote unquote, experience in college, getting a secondary education that you might not see as an available option, but it's there for you, and everyone really supports and cares for you, and you deserve that education.
Yeah. So my hypothetical is a real life scenario for Jaxen. That's good that you're getting that experience early on. And I think that's the key too, is reminding our listeners, yes, we have technical colleges. Community colleges offer some of those same kind of technical programs too. And you also have the option to just take your general education if you aspire to move on to a bachelor's degree and then continue down the road to other degrees. So we have a variety of things that folks can check out. So you're all, I'm assuming, getting near graduation.
Yes.
And at your institutions thinking about entering the workforce, or maybe going on, in the case of Troy, to get that next degree. What advice would you give to a first-time student about how to approach their education and experiences at the community college? We've talked about how involved you all got, how someone reached out to you. So surely that's giving you some lessons about what has worked well. So again, if you're thinking about a student who I'm just going to come in, take my class, and go home, what advice would you give to them really about how to make that experience the most it could be? I don't know that, Jaxen, have we started with you yet? Maybe we'll start with you on that one.
Did we? I think we did already start with me, but I don't care to go again.
Yeah. No, let's go ahead.
I think the most important advice, as seen by all of us, is to get involved, like you just said.
Yeah.
Finding a way to work with your institution. What can I do? How can I get involved? From personal experience, like that first year at a new school, like if you don't get involved, you tend to hate it. Like, oh, I'm not doing anything. Like, there's no reason for me to want to come to school.
Mm-hmm.
But that's the important of extracurriculars, is giving students a secondary reason, like not just forcing them to go to school, but once you're involved, you have this passion, you have this drive to attend. Let me tell you about my little brother. Let me tell you all about him. I love him. He's 15 years old.
Okay.
He is a freshman in high school.
Oh.
He has hated school forever. He really struggles in school. It's something that's really hard for him, and he hates it. And then in middle school, he was not involved in any way, and he would just go to school, and he didn't have very many friends anymore. Like, they were all doing stuff in their clubs that he wasn't a part of, and he couldn't understand the schoolwork. Like, he hated school. His 8th grade year, we pulled him out of school. He was homeschooled for 1 year, for all of 8th grade. And my mom took him back to the basics. Like, okay, let's review this. Like, what's going on in our schoolwork? And not all of our problems were solved, but he really wanted to go back to school. Like, I gotta go back. I can't do this anymore. Like, you're driving me crazy, Mom.
Yeah.
And so then he got back to school, and he's suddenly involved in all of these things. They've approached him, and they've been like, will you come join this? Will you come join that? Will you come join this? So now he's part of Skills USA with criminal justice, and he's joined Teen Health Council, which is a new program at our high school. And because of those things, like the student government approached him like, hey, can you come? Like, you can't be an official, but like, we want you to come and join and do everything that we do with student government. So now it's his spring break, and he still doesn't understand all of his schoolwork all the time, but he is so upset, like crying just about, like, I can't go to school this week and work on my student government project. Like, he's so upset. Like, I just want to be at school again. Like, he loves it so much. So to be that successful student, like, to want to get at school, you need to be involved in some way to give you another reason to want to be there.
Yeah, well, and in your case, because of the particular major that you have, you're actually being exposed to some experiences that are career related, right? But that's also another engagement opportunity, right? So that you're really applying what you're learning in the classroom in a real life setting by student teaching. So that was another way that they kind of are encouraging you to connect with the institution, and your degree path is through that experience. How about you, Troy?
Oh my. Well, the thing that I would say I would ask them to treat the opportunity with the respect that it deserves. It's more than showing up. It's being present in the learning process. I'd mentioned earlier that I had the 101 in statistics.
Yeah.
I did the math, and I figured that I took 8 hours of study for every point. It's I would tell them that it is work, but I would also tell them that the more that you put into it, the more that you're going to get out of it. And ask for help. Use your resources. I loved what Jaxen said. I remember my first semester, a young person, their car wouldn't start, and I gave them a boost. And it just happened to be Thanksgiving. And our school had a nice Thanksgiving meal. And I was like, would you like to go to Thanksgiving dinner? And we went to Thanksgiving dinner, and they said, I'm so lonely because I haven't made any friends. Nobody's talked to me. And I just said, we're all scared because you remember our first semester, our first week, nobody says anything. No. So I would just tell them, kind of like Jaxen said, just everybody's scared. We're all in this together. Let's be together.
Yeah, that's great. And I appreciate the fact that you were there for that student, make a connection with someone in that moment. That was great.
All
With
right.
you, Alexis.
They've said all the good things.
I know. Well, that's okay. I mean, you know.
No, I'm kidding. I think what's really important going into community college is accepting that it's okay not to know yourself. It's okay to learn all of these different things. You're going to grow exponentially in college. Based on the schoolwork, I found so many things I was passionate about, like in literature and things, that I just hadn't thought about before. But even more than that, like getting involved, of course, you're going to get what you give. Yeah, get what you give. So the more you put into something, the more you're going to get out of it. And so like getting involved, like I found like, again, this passion for leadership, this passion for, helping others in a different way that I hadn't thought about before. And so really just going in, taking a shot in the dark and saying, hey, I may not have everything figured out, but I'm just going to try it. Try all the new things, talk to the new people, just give yourself the shot that you deserve, I think that especially right after graduation, entering college, again, we are scared. We don't really know what we're going to do with our lives most times. We have this like loose, drawn out plan, even the best of us. And that's so scary, scared of the unknown, But as long as you give yourself that shot and you kind of give yourself that resolution, hey, it's going to be okay. That's what's most important. And that's what's going to get you through it.
Yeah. Yes, you all have given some good reaffirmations for folks who might be doubting either going back to college because they think it's too much work or it's too late in my life. You all are examples of that's not true, right? It is possible. But also, again, the importance of the connection with the community, both in the classroom, out of the classroom. Hopefully you provide some inspiration for folks who are listening who might be contemplating what their next move is, right? That there are a variety of students, variety of circumstances. We all have fears. That is normal. You are not abnormal for thinking that, right? Thank you so much for sitting with me today and kind of sharing some reflections on your time at our colleges. And again, I have to say congratulations to you for being a finalist. That is no easy task when you consider all the institutions we have across the state submitting finalists for this competition, and you were the final 3. So good luck to you tonight, and whoever wins, you're all winners in my book because you made it this far. So congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to this edition of From the VC's Bookshelf, brought to you by TBR, the College System of Tennessee, powering the state's economy and changing the lives of thousands of graduates, starting successful careers each year. To learn more about upcoming book selections or to register to attend discussions live, visit tbr.edu/bookshelf.